Hello, today we're going to talk about the UEFA Euro 2016. The UEFA Euro is a major event in the football scenario, and in 2016 counted with the participation of 2.5 million spectators at 10 different stadiums all over France, boosting the French economy. Sustainability needs to be taken into account in a big event like this, since it generates many environmental wastes, such as energy expenditure and greenhouse gas emissions. So why France, you ask? The candidates to host the event were Turkey, France, and Italy. France was chosen because it has political stability, don't need to invest a lot in new stadiums, is an easy accessible country, and has a good public transport system. Another aspect that was relevant for UEFA to select France was the tax exemption of the various entities that organized the event. The organizers of the event brought a proposal of respect in the games, with the focus on accessibility for all, banning smoking in games, respect for diversity, respect for fans, and the main aspect of this video, the respect for the environment, which will be discussed now. Okay, first we're going to talk about footprints. Carbon footprint is the set of greenhouse gas emissions caused by a person, group, or event. The carbon footprint in a major event such as the UEFA Euro 2016 is mainly given by the transport of the spectators, by car, train, planes, however they got to France. So they created a calculator that measures how much carbon a person spends going from their hometown to France. Then it measures how much money would be needed to compensate the amount of carbon a person spends going to the event. If the person wants, she can donate the amount of money to a project that generates clean energy at a wind farm on a French island in the South Pacific. The creation of the calculator was interesting, but not enough at all to offset the emission of carbon at the event. Other specific measures should have been taken. Now let's talk about water footprints. It's the same idea of the carbon. It says how much water was spent by a person or event. In the UEFA Euro 2016, the main water expenses were with the irrigation of the fields. To illustrate that, the Paris Stadium Stade de France uses 36 million liters of water every year, the equivalent of 720,000 baths. The main highlight of the reduction of water in the event was the use of dry toilets in the city of Bordeaux. The advantage of dry toilets is that they don't use water and allow for recycling to produce fertilizers. In addition, the toilets were installed by a local company, the Island L'Atelier, using a locally found pine to produce the bathrooms. That stimulated the local commerce.
Transport and mobility. These two aspects have to be taken seriously in a matter of the consolidation of an event of huge proportions. For the Euro 2016, which takes place in 10 different French cities and expects an audience of at least 2.5 million people from all around the globe, keeping this amount of people as mobile as possible between stadiums, airports, local fan zones, and commercial spots seems to be a challenging task at first. Unlike Brazil, home of the 2014 World Cup and 2016 Olympics, most of the budget of France's Euro is not directed to transport and mobility resolutions. The main reason lays on the fact that all the transport system has been established and integrated for years now. You can, for example, travel between cities or even countries using high-speed trains, namely TGVs, while in Brazil you're forced to travel by plane or drive a car on a highway. Considering that spectators' mobility is one of the actions that impacts heavily the event's carbon footprint, all the stadiums have little to none parking lots. So anyone that wants to watch a game has been encouraged to use trains and DGVs and also take walks to the venues. Any use of cars and cabs was discouraged unless really needed. Solid waste management. When it comes to solid waste, and by that I mean any discarded or abandoned materials resulting from a range of different operations, UEFA Euro 2016 set its aim high. was intended to keep the recycle rate up from 50% by implementing the 3Rs premise: reduce, reuse, and recycle to all the residue produced by spectators in the stadiums. Also, the company tried to bring the public attention by raising awareness about the topic via posters and signs placed near garbage bins spread across the venues. Finally, there's no data available that proves whether or not the resolutions for the management of solid waste were in fact efficient. A real data sheet is not available at this time, and any research regarding waste and Euro 2016 per se points it out to garbage collectors that went on strike at the time, leaving Paris streets and corners stinky for some time.
Now we're going to talk about a really important theme whenever it comes to organizing big events and events that are in the media, such as the Euro 2016. Green procurement is an important tool to achieve environmental policy goals that relate to climate change, resource use, sustainable consumption, production, and to responsible purchasing and responsible actions towards the environment and towards human rights as well. So green procurement focuses on the purchasing of products and services that have a minimum adverse environmental impact, and it incorporates human health and environmental concerns into the search for high-quality products and services at competitive prices. So essentially, green procurement unites the idea of sustainability and responsibility to our process of purchasing and selecting and producing also products for our daily use and for other means as well. Policies that have the idea of green procurement preach that we have to use products with improved recyclability, that use clean technology with greater energy efficiency, with reduced water consumption, and products that emit fewer toxic substances and which pollute less whenever they're disposed. One of the main goals of the event was to promote responsible sourcing of products and services, helping buyers consider environmental and social issues within the supply chain, and also to encourage suppliers with licenses and other regulations to follow social and responsible guidelines. The event's partners were essential to guaranteeing the sustainability of the event. For example, IMG was responsible for managing all the licenses, and it required that every one of them, as well as the contractors, complied with ILO Declaration of Fundamental Principles and Rights at Work. Agilis, for example, committed to making a supply chain with sustainable ideas by contracting suppliers with local initiatives, tackling child labor, and with good working conditions. The tournament's official accommodation agency made a supplier code of conduct where they had directions towards their expectations and responsibilities when offering their hotel services. Also, the catering of the event had commitments towards reducing waste, to sorting products of high quality, to transport with clean energy, and also to increase the efficiency of their service. During this video, we've discussed sustainability in Euro Cup 2016, ranging from different aspects. First, we talked about carbon and water footprints, transport and mobility, solid residue management, and green procurement. Through the analysis of all their proposals, we can see that the organization of the event put a lot of effort into making a sustainable event and trying to create as much initiatives as possible for it to be a very responsible and conscious event. Unfortunately, we don't have yet a lot of data and results to support whether or not these initiatives were effective, but we can see that it's a really important thing that organizations such as these are taking so much effort and so much importance in sustainability. We thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.